It's Cake.
And Whimsy.
And we're here for a vlog!
A vlog it is!
I would say a home vlog, but they're all home vlogs at this point.
Yeah, kinda. So what's up with us?
Well, I just published another picture book. I know! You just
Another
heard me. You just had to put up with me telling you about the last one, the gnomes. This one is called Witchlet Academy.
Oh.
And it is the first one in a teaching series for kids of witches and pagans and all different nature-based religions. And the first one deals with the zodiac, which, here's a picture. Cool. There's a link to that book in the description below. So please, buy it, share it, teach stuff. There will be more in that series coming up as well. There'll be holidays and deities and a bunch of fun things.
Along with more adventures of our friend the gnome as well.
Very true. And I am currently working on my third picture book series for this year called Doppelgeeks.
I remember that name.
Right. I used to have a toy making business called Geeky and Cheeky. And I made a doll that I called Doppelgeeks, and they are felt, well, you know what, let's show them.
Doppelgeeks are simplified versions
of your favorite dorky obsessions.
Your favorite pop culture obsessions. Consider them the Funko of felt. And
to be fair, I started making these a while ago. This was 2010.
Jess has made thousands of these, and out of hundreds of characters, and we used to sell them at conventions, and people would come by dressed as that character and then buy a little mini-me of that character.
Sometimes commission versions of themselves made into them.
Or their Dungeons and Dragons parties and that kind of stuff.
Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, maybe you guys will recognize this guy.
Ooh.
Most annoying dungeon master ever.
Greetings, adventurers. So, at some point, Jess wasn't able to continue making these, even though they were wildly successful at the time, because of MS and shaking and that kind of stuff. So, the idea has sat for a while, but she just recently, through her art, figured out a way to reinvigorate that line.
And it's going to be through Doppelgeeks, which is going to be a picture book series, and it will document the lives of these toys at the conventions. This is something Captain's got to do on his own.
Oh, is it? No, it's not. No, it's not. Please save me. Please. Help! Ugh.
Why'd she kick him after that?
You know, Zoe is really an enigma. She's hard to understand.
She's terse.
She's straight to the point, and the point in this case was the tip of her boot to his head.
So get excited, look forward for that. Yay, I am. In the meantime, teach kids about the zodiac.
Right? There's a lot going on here. A whole lot going on. And in the meantime, we have stuff going on in our garden. Our garden is doing all sorts of weird things. We have our wild raspberries, the black raspberries, have finally finished their harvest run, and I think our final tally was about 20 pounds. That is a ton of black raspberries.
Especially since we didn't plant those.
No, I will definitely need a freezer of some sort, because right now they are taking up a ton of room in my freezer.
And that's just the raspberries.
We also have blackberries in the yard. Those are just starting to ripen up a little bit. Thankfully, they don't have exactly the same season. And we have blueberries in the yard as well, all of which are going to give us a bountiful harvest.
And peaches.
And peaches, which should be ready in, I don't know, maybe a month or so. I keep saying 2 weeks, but they just seem to...
I think beginning of August is when peach season starts.
We'll see how it all goes, but we'll let you know on that one. I've got a tree full of unripened peaches, so that's something. And then our cherry tree Bingley. When last we met, Bingley had met a a perhaps profound end. We weren't sure. Little Ravager bunnies. What did you call them?
Vorpal bunny. Vorpal bunny attack took out Bingley.
I mean, we're told they started by savaging him with insults.
Vicious mockery.
And when that wasn't enough, they came in for the kill. They grabbed all his leaves. And when that wasn't enough to kill him, brave Bingley fought on. And then they ate all of his branches.
He tried desperately to grow another one. Didn't matter.
And then they just chewed up on his bark. And eventually we were left with a little stick about this big. And we sent a picture of it to our company, Fast Growing Trees. And they said, no, you're right. That tree is very, very dead. It will not come back.
Poor Bingley.
Good news, though. They gave us a return on our tree, a warranty, essentially, for that one. So that's good news.
So we've replaced Bingley.
We have replaced Bingley with a much larger version because Bingley was a little too short to live. And because Jess is no longer in the business of selling these live at conventions, we took her organizational cubes that she had.
Little grid shelves. Yeah.
And we savaged them and repurposed them as little fences, these cute little white fences around all of our trees to make sure that the little bunnies are not tempted. We don't want to keep the bunnies out of our yard. We just want to give them something better to eat than the trees that really need our attention to live for a couple seasons before they get savaged. Because then we're going to have cherries and plums.
And other kinds of raspberries.
True.
Golden ones and ever-bearing ones, and yeah.
Yeah, we've got our own raspberries that we are planting inside the perimeter that we're hoping do well, but
the bunnies.
Those bunnies, they really love them. They did take one of our raspberry plants as well. I don't honestly know if it was the red or the black, but they ate that one to the nub. like they had a vendetta against it.
And like there's so many others they could have chosen from. But the freshly planted one, that's the one they went for.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to save us from the things in our yard. Like, nah, this doesn't belong here.
I heard antioxidants are bad for you.
We're going to protect these guys. I mean, a cherry tree is kind of poisonous to bunnies. They actively did harm to themselves to save us from the cherry tree. So yeah, there's that. And I think that is about it for the... I mean, our garden harvest has suffered a bit.
We got some bugs. We had some invading things that started eating all of our stuff. But I did plant some beets, and we have a couple of those that seem to be working. They're more of a test for next year. And we planted some onions, and we'll see what happens.
Next year we'll put the little net fabric over the more delicate greeneries. I think that'll help a little bit. This year I think we almost had a great harvest if we would have harvested immediately instead of trying to do a
cut and come
perpetual harvest. And that ended up losing us most of the stuff we planted. But we learn, we live, we do better next time.
And then there's Toastmasters.
Toastmasters.
Smooth segue, right?
Right?
As you could only expect from Toastmaster President.
El Presidente. The club has now accepted her leadership and officially come to call her El Presidente.
It was a delight.
As is right and proper. And as your leadership reign begins, what are your goals now? What have you done to lead this club, Jess?
Well, as any good dictator, any good elected official knows, you lead by delegating responsibilities to people who handle it best. So, my goals for this year are going to be the mentorship program, which falls solely in the lap of the Vice President of Education, which would be...
That's me. I get to do all the goals again?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm back, baby.
He did such a good job last year, though.
Alright, well, we did do a really good job last year. In the end, we got a perfect 10 out of 10 for our Presidential Distinguished Award. We got 3 different people in our club who did Triple Crown, which means they won 3 different awards. That's pretty rare in Toastmasters as well. We had a bunch of people get involved in the new way of doing things, so it was pretty impressive. And we had one of the best membership rates of any club out there in our region. So we're full of surprises, and we now have a leadership team that's pretty amazing, starting with El Presidente and going all the way down through the ranks. So I think it's going to be a good year.
Is that our update?
That is our update. Are you having a good year?
Let us know in the comments. Are you having a bad year? Yeah, throw those in there too. We'll try to console you.
Meanwhile, throw us a like, subscribe.
Hmm.
We'll see. We'll put more of this weird stuff out there.
You know what would make this year better?
What would make this year better?
Cake.
Let's frost the cake.